Hello and welcome to Nationwide. I'm Amina Saidu. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says policies of the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, will enjoy government support in order to rebuild it as a critical sector for the good of Nigeria. This was when the minister unveiled activities of NIPR proposed National Spokesperson Summit with the theme, Change Narratives, Change Society, expected to hold next month in Abuja. The minister is optimistic that the National Values Charter will achieve global attention through the activities of NIPR.
We're bringing back the issue of equity, fairness, justice, merit, bringing them back so that you feel that you are a Nigerian, and then you will consciously or unconsciously begin to exude those values. And we want it to come from within. This is not something that somebody will just force on you. It's a campaign that everybody will have to be part of. If you love this country, if you believe in this country, you must queue behind the president in unveiling, and not just unveiling, in believing in this national value charter that all of us require for the sake of our collective existence, for the sake of the prosperity, the shared prosperity that the president himself is also leading.
Acting President of NIPR, Professor Emmanuel Ndara, led other executive members to the event. In a similar visit, the Nigeria Institute of Architects pledged to support the work of the Ministry of Information and National Orientation.
We are also promoting Afrocentric architecture, with many of our members being celebrated in this regard even all over the world. So without doubt, our nation stands to benefit immensely if the right policies and investments are made in the arts and culture spheres.
Similarly, Nigerian journalists have been urged to assist the country in the efforts at finding solutions to the various challenges confronting the nation. Dr. Ademolu Okune of the Nigerian Television Authority Lagos Network Center made this call while delivering the 4th edition of the Ogu Radio 4th DG Akinhami Lecture in Abeokuta. Hakim Jimo completes the report.
Annual memorial lecture in honor of the immediate past general manager of Ogun State Broadcasting Corporation, OGBC, late DG Akinhami, brought the who is who in the media profession together to brainstorm on the way forward for journalism.
There has never been a better time when journalists should support government and people of Nigeria than now. The need for journalists to see it from a patriotic perspective, the need for journalists to play the role effectively.
Goodwill messages centered on challenges facing journalism with advocacy for better pay package for journalists to enable them perform their duties without fear or favor.
But the only thing you can do as professionals is to let us begin to retrain ourselves. We train ourselves to the value of the profession. To build a new society, you have to expose society to itself. When you bring all of those things that society is hiding, you become an enemy of the power that be. Let us emulate it. Let us be conversant with our job.
For other guests, including family members of the deceased, late DG Akinhami wrote his name on marbles.
But very articulate. Some people attributed that to journalism, but some of us saw that as wisdom.
He worked hard and he played hard.
DG had welfare of staff as paramount in his mind.
I thank you for this honor you've done. A highly distinguished member, DG. He distinguished himself in the profession and he also distinguished himself in the family.
Did Akiome actually lived for journalism and he died, unfortunately, for journalism?
The acting general manager, NTA, Abeokuta, here in day on order, also graced the occasion. In Abeokuta, Akim Jimo, NTA News.
The Emir of Wogu Kingdom, Muhammadu Haliru Nturu, has appealed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to assent to the Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Service Bill into law. The monarch was speaking when the management of the service, led by its leader, Dr. Wole Osatimiahin, paid him a courtesy visit. The royal father commended the security outfit for its strategic effort in taming the surge of insecurity in parts of the country's forest resources and salutes the president for fulfilling his campaign promises to Nigerians. Despite challenges of nationhood, the service appreciates the emir for his role in stabilizing his domain and beyond, and proposed constitutional role for traditional institutions to empower it for more fundamental local, state, and national assignments. Federal government is collaborating with state government to enhance provision of quality power supply to households, businesses, and underserved communities in the country. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu, at a meeting with Nigerian Governors Forum and States Energy Commissioners, says the partnership is to develop sub-national electricity market in line with the new electricity law. Also, the meeting encourages states to invest in generation by utilizing dams that are in different communities in their states. In addition, the renewed partnership is to enable states take advantage of rural electrification projects while working with the agency to identify communities for mini-grids and upgrade solutions on liquidity crisis in the power sector. Federal government seeks support of state governments on bill collections by the distribution companies, especially for hard-to-reach communities by the distribution companies to improve revenue. The federal government says genetically modified crops recently approved do not pose any national security threat and cannot be used as weapons of biotech terrorism. The National Biotechnology Development Agency stated this while reacting to allegations that the new varieties of crops have security issues. The Biotechnology Development Agency says the federal government has put mechanisms in place that ensures that all crops developed in the country or imported are safe for human and animal consumption, and they do not pose any threat to the environment. The agency further clarifies that all GMO seeds had passed the usual rigorous biosafety assessments before approval for commercial planting. Recently, the federal government approved production and distribution of transgenic cowpea and teller maize seeds developed by Nigerian scientists to benefit the smallholder farmer. The Kwara State Police Command has confirmed the murder of a traditional ruler, the Onukoro of Koro community in Ekiti local government area of Kwara State, Oba Aremu Olusegun Cole. Ejiri Ade indicates that the traditional ruler was killed in his palace while his wife was abducted with one other by gunmen on Thursday night. The Kwara State Commissioner of Police has set up investigating team to clamp down on the criminal elements as safety of residents is being guaranteed. In the meantime, Kwara State Government delegation led by Deputy Governor Kayode Alabi has visited Koro, Ekiti local government area of the state to commiserate with the people over the killing of their monarch, retired General Olusegun Aremu Cole. One person was said to have later regained his freedom, while the Queen and one girl are still in captivity. Mr. Alabi promised that the state government will fish out the gunmen and rescue the abducted alive. The National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria, under the chairmanship of Sultan of Sokoto Alhaji Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, co-chaired by Oni of Ife Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi, notes with dismay the incessant kidnappings and murder of monarchs and other Nigerians by suspected bandits. The council laments the desecration of custodians of Nigerian tradition and culture and advocates the end to the menace. It cited examples of the recent abduction and eventual release of a traditional ruler in Imo State, kidnap and murder of 2 monarchs in Ekiti State, among others. While wishing the families, people and government of Ekiti State the fortitude to bear the loss, the Council calls on federal, state and local government administrations to deploy and equip security personnel with the necessary equipment to the nooks and crannies of the country to stem the tide of the crimes and criminalities. Oil pollution challenging the survival of biodiversities in the wetland has continued to threaten livelihood, particularly in riverine areas. As the world marks Wetland Day, stakeholders in Port Harcourt are stressing the need for adequate measures to be put in place towards the conservation of the environment while preserving the wetland. Robinson Deratidi tells us more.
Nigeria prides itself for having the largest wetlands in Africa and 3rd largest mangrove forest in the world. These provide a natural habitat for several aquatic species. The theme of this year's World Wetland Day is Wetlands and Human Well-being.
The wetlands also are a major source of carbon sequestration in our ecological system. Like they help to absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, thereby giving us the requisite oxygen for survival.
The oil is coming from there. We have fishes, we have forestry, we have so many other things that are coming from the Niger Delta environment.
However, oil pollution, land reclamation and dredging has negatively affected the wetlands.
You see the wetland as part of you. You won't destroy it.
The government should make a deliberate effort to protect these sacred groves. How? Have them mapped out and gazetted.
Farmers in Rivers and Bayelsa states are also encouraged to take advantage of the wetlands for rice production in the ongoing agricultural revolution. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Deratide, NTA News.
The persistent oil bunkering in the Niger Delta has become a serious concern to residents of Rivers State owing to its impact on the lives and livelihood of the people. Notwithstanding the huge investment in security to curtail the menace, the activities of these oil thieves have remained unabated. The latest is the fire outbreak at the Nembejeti in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri has a background report.
The crude oil sold at $77 per barrel at the international market and petroleum products selling between 591 to 1,000 naira per litre in Nigeria. The prospect for the petroleum industry remains very attractive. The last decade, of course, has witnessed significant increase of youth involvement in artisanal refining in the Niger Delta region, with Rivers State having a large chunk of it.
If you can't bring people to justice, more people will go into it because it's lucrative. There are several state-owned companies that are monogram today. If they can revive those companies and get those youth employed, I think will lessen the spate of oil bunkering in the Niger Delta in particular.
Whereas the miscreants defy operational standards, steal the crude, reap the benefits while leaving the larger population at risk of their nefarious acts.
Sometimes this easier way is not always the best way, and that's why you find a whole lot of young ones not minding the dangers that are associated with it going into oil bunkering.
Some of us in the climatological science, when you find the particulates and those other maybe smokes and different other kinds of aerosols, when we inhale them, some may not be good for our system, so it has serious health implications.
Analysts want the government to review its stand on establishment of modular refineries, harnessing the talent and channeling them into modular refining to end this unhealthy venture. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Joining me from Port Harcourt to give us more insight is Kingsley Amajiri. Hello, Kingsley. Hello, Kingsley.
Welcome to, good afternoon. Welcome to Port Harcourt, River State capital. Well, the issue in focus being the recurrence of illegal oil refining and bunkering in the Niger Delta region, with River State in particular, is a topical issue among the stakeholders here in River State. The concerns are about the negative implication of these activities of illegal oil refining on health, on environment, on agriculture, and the economy of the nation generally. While the latest incident at the Nembe Creek brings to mind the dangers the artisanal refining products have for residents, and of course the movement of this product which is going on unchecked in the city and in the state at large, one begin to call to mind actions that need to be taken by the relevant authorities to put this into a check. Well, of course, you know, the security agencies are doing their best to curtail these activities, but the miscreants are unrelenting. Only recently, the Nigerian Navy arrested a group conveying 20 cylinders, 10 iron plates, and with other equipment on their way to Krakrama to set up another illegal refinery. Despite the effort these security agencies are making, these miscreants are going on about the state, setting up this refinery, and for the average residents of the state, they bear the consequences of the health implication of this artisanal refinery. Look at the incident at Nembe Jetty. So many persons, so I know a good number of persons lost their life in that incident. People who probably are not part of this illegal oil trade, possibly because they were traveling through the waterway to their community. They were caught up in that fire that occurred on Monday in the state. Beyond that, proponents are asking that the relevant authorities should activate the module refinery proposed by the last administration as a way of harnessing these talents and taking them away from this unwholesome act and channeling them to legitimate ventures, such that it will be a win-win situation both for the state, a state as a government of the Nigeria, and those who are engaged in this business. You recall that many have also given support to this idea, given that there is high level of unemployment, and they believe that if an alternative is created for these people, the issue of illegal oil refinery would have been nipped in the bud.
So much, Kingsley. That was Kingsley Amajiri with an update from Port Harcourt. Enlightening members of the community on the significance of collective efforts in fighting crime and criminality has been re-echoed as part of continued efforts of the federal government to ensure full restoration of peace in the Northeast region. This necessitated office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation with the Borno State Government engage stakeholders in the Northeast on peace-building initiative. Maimuna Garba reports.
The stakeholders' engagement on sustaining post-conflict recovery through effective peace-building and reconciliation initiatives aimed at providing a forum to exchange ideas between government and people in the Northeast on how best to address security challenges and activities of various non-state community-based security outfits. Secretary to Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, represented, said President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is concerned with security challenges as several measures have been put in place aimed at improving the situation.
It is gratifying to note that the efforts are yielding the desired results as the security situation has relatively improved in most parts of the country.
Representative of Borno State Governor highlighted the effect of insurgency on the development of the state, saying the state government has put in place all needed processes to manage the post-insurgency recovery phase.
We have drastically scaled down the insurgency, but the tempo, as I said earlier, must be sustained.
We are not yet out of the woods. Even in Borno State, we still have remnants of the insurgents. and they are attacking on sporadic basis.
Presentations focused on strengthening recovery and peace building in Northeast, roles of non-state security actors and community-based security organizations, and dangers of landmines and IED in the region. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
We now join Adiola in Lagos for more updates. Hello, Adiola.
Good to see you. As political parties strategize ahead of the Saturday, February 3 Surulere Federal Constituency 1 by-election, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has taken delivery of sensitive election materials from the Central Bank of Nigeria in Lagos. Musa Toliat reports that the INEC resident electoral commissioner, Professor Abayomi Salami, was at the CBN office to sign out the sensitive materials.
Sensitive election materials released to the leadership of INEC in Lagos is a major statement to reassure political parties and the electorate that the election umpire is technically ready for the conduct of the Surulere Federal Constituency 1 by-election on Saturday. Some political party agents inspected and confirmed that the sensitive materials were intact before appending their signature for the final release of the election materials.
And all our staffs are being recruited, are being trained, and everything has been done to ensure that we have a very free, fair and credible and transparent election on Saturday this week.
11 political parties are fielding candidates for the by-election in Surulere Federal Constituency 1.
14 initially showed interest. Only 12 parties conducted primaries. At the end of the day, only 11 parties uploaded and presented candidates. So it is the duty of the parties to present candidates, not the duty of INEC. So we are only dealing with the political parties that presented candidates for the election, but all the parties were given the opportunity to actually present candidates for this election.
The seat in contention was declared vacant after the former occupant, Femi Gbajabiamila, was appointed Chief of Staff to the President. In Lagos, Musa Tolian, NTA News.
Wetland is home to about 100,000 species, a source of fresh water, and contributes to global food production. This natural shock absorber that reduces flood and storm surge is at a risk and fast disappearing. In this report, Larry Belay takes a look at the importance of wetland and challenges facing its existence as the global community marks this year's World Wetlands Day.
Wetland is a very important subsystem of the general ecosystem, and the connection between wetlands and human well-being are many, from mangroves, mudflats, and floodplains to its function as reservoirs of biodiversity and crucial resource for tourism. Wetlands also improve water quality, store carbon, and are vital protection against floods and droughts.
A state like Lagos that is known for aquatic splendor has a lot of wetlands, and these wetlands have been contributing to the resilience of the city like Lagos. And that's why it's very important for us to continue to protect and preserve our wetlands.
Unfortunately, wetlands are on the decline due to human impacts. In Lagos, for example, urbanization has led to incessant sand filling and conversion of wetland environment to economic uses through construction and cause perennial flooding.
Lagos State to continue doing what they're doing and preventing people from blocking the wetlands, and to have very, very strict control over the sand filling of these wetlands. We call it poto-poto, but it's far more valuable than just a poto-poto. It's a life support system that needs to be preserved and needs to be replenished.
Sustaining this ecosystem in Lagos is very important, and environmentalists say a green future awaits the state without wetlands. To avert this, they are advocating more sensitization campaigns, wetland restoration, and better management practices. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
Those are reports from Lagos. The news will continue with Nana Aisha in our Sokoto Network Center after this time out. To stay.
Everyone, you're still watching Nationwide. Welcome to Sokoto.
Ahead of tomorrow's rerun elections, political parties in Sokoto State have signed a peace accord to ensure smooth conduct of the exercise. The pact was signed at a brief ceremony at the Police Command Headquarters, Sokoto, at the instance of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Dalhatu Abdullahi has more.
Sokoto is among the 26 states in the Federation where the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC will conduct rerun election this Saturday. The rerun election will hold in 26 polling units of Shagari Yabo Federal Constituency and 15 polling units in Tambol West State Assembly Constituency, as well as constituency. This peace pact was coordinated by the Nigerian Police Sokoto State Command in the presence of the INEC officials. Sokoto State Commissioner of Police Hayatu Kaigama noted that the peace accord is aimed at committing the political parties to a peaceful, credible and transparent rerun elections in the affected areas.
I wish to equally admonish political parties, contestants and their supporters to refrain from provocative utterances and speeches or circulation of wrong and unconfirmed information through social media, which may be tantamount to hate speeches.
While commending the command for the initiative, the Administrative Secretary INEC Sokoto Office, Hawa Aliyu Kangiwa, assures that the electoral umpire is fully prepared to conduct free, fair and credible rerun elections in the affected polling units.
You can't give your voter's card for somebody to go and vote for you in your place. You can't collect your wife's voter's card to go and vote for her, or vice versa. So you have to abide by all these rules and regulations.
Political parties, candidates and other stakeholders pledged their support toward a peaceful exercise. The Independent National Electoral Commission has earlier distributed sensitive materials to the electoral officers of the concerned local government areas in the presence of representatives of political parties at the INEC Sokoto office. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Sokoto State Police Command has recovered 20 rustled cows and a donkey from a fleeing group of cattle rustlers along Gada Road in Sokoto State. The command made the disclosure while briefing newsmen on the operation that led to the breakthrough. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa has more.
The CID and the SWAT operatives acted on intelligence to trail the rustlers who, upon sighting the police, abandoned the animals and fled away. The police public relations officer, Sokoto State Command, ASP Ahmed Rufai, says after a thorough investigation, the rightful owner has been identified and the animals will be handed over to him. The spokesperson appealed to the public to always cooperate with security agencies by giving them useful information on criminal elements for prompt action.
Team of anti-kidnapping operatives attached to state CID in connection with the SWAT acted on intelligence and intercepted yet to be identified cattle rustlers along Gada bush. On sighting the police, the hoodlums took to their heels after giving a hot chase. They abandoned the stolen cattle as Rof told. As a result, 20 cows and 1 donkey were recovered at the scene.
Owner of the animals, Malami Hayatu, commended Sokoto State Police Command for their effort in the protection of lives and property of the people in the state. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA News.
Well, that's our contribution here in Sokoto. Nationwide will continue in Abuja. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Aisha. The Power Equipment and Electrical Machinery Development Institute, PMADI, is set to collaborate with the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, with focus on knowledge sharing, equipment repair and supply. Jonathan Omajali reports that the partnership was solidified during a visit by NTA Locages Management to the institute in Okene, Kogi State.
Despite numerous interventions by successive governments, the power sector remains in dire state, significantly impacting manufacturing and general business. The establishment of the Power Equipment and Electrical Machine Development Institute, a research institute under the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, aims to tackle challenges within the power sector. Situated in Okene, Kogi State, The institute is designed to be a center of excellence for the design, production and repair of power equipment and electrical machines, contributing to Nigeria's self-sufficiency in power transmission and distribution.
We are into design also. There are some equipment, if it is not readily available, once you tell us the work it is doing, we can easily fabricate it and then come up with a new equipment instead of traveling out of the country to source for such equipment.
The Nigerian Television Authority, Lokoja, recently visited the institute and upon assessing its facilities, expressed confidence in its ability to address the country's power challenges. In addition to the repair and maintenance of power equipment, the institute is actively involved in renewable energy initiatives such as solar power and small hydropower.
A lot of people outside here will not want the project, but if we give the touch to publicity by publicizing what we can do and what's available.
Whatever area they need us in their own system, we can easily come in.
PIMADI was established in 2004 and nurtured at the Naseni headquarters, Abuja, before it was moved to Okene in 2008. Jonathan Majali, NTA News.
Still on technology, Devs in Government, a community of technologists that will drive the full digital transformation in public service, has been created by the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy. Chidimma Ndubusi reports that this sets the tone for Nigeria's journey to attaining full digitalization of government services and processes.
Nigeria ranks 140 out of 193 in the United Nations E-Government Development Index, a position below expectation for a country that has deployed digital technology to its public service system over the years. One of the missing links, identified as the absence of a singular platform for data sharing and other businesses among NDAs, is exemplified in Rashida Sadiq's experience as an assistant chief statistician responsible for collating data to produce national statistics on GDP, unemployment and employment rates.
One of the challenges we have is the energy, the resources that we have to expend, having to go to every MDA to get data.
The development of an ecosystem of technologists from the civil service, the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy says, is to close gaps.
Bringing those people together under one umbrella so that we can empower them, get them to share their pains and successes and experiences, and from there we can deliver our goals. We're setting up a dedicated hub for technologies in government, which is a place where they will come to when they have brand new ideas, to build out the ideas, test the ideas, and also ensure they can get the government support that is required to help implement it in government. So it's a brand new way of encouraging innovation in the public service.
The Devs in Government platform will also aid in building the Digital Public Infrastructure, DPI, a foundational system for efficient digital technology services. In Abuja, Chidimma Ndubusi, NTA News.
Vegetable farmers in Kano State will soon be smiling to the banks with their pockets full. Yohanusu Hassanbaro reports that this follows the development of an innovation that will promote better preservation culture among vegetable producers in the state. The initiative is to reduce losses farmers incur by 65% in the next 2 years.
Nigeria is the 14th largest producer of tomatoes in the world, second in Africa, and accounts for about 65% of the tomatoes that are produced in West Africa. Despite the potentials of Nigeria in tomato production, the country still imports more of tomato paste concentrate annually, valued at millions of naira, which experts attribute to poor post-harvest handling. Kano, as a state with a high number of tomato farmers, Salisu Kura is one among them who before now lacks the technical know-how on preservation of the vegetable.
If
used to cut and spray the tomatoes on the ground, which is not the best way, but thank God now spray it in a more hygienic way.
The recent development initiated under the Kano Agro-Pastoral Development Project in collaboration with the Sasakawa Africa Association has rekindled hope among farmers in the state.
Whatever technology we are taking to the field, we actually assess it very well to ensure that it is accessible, affordable and sustainable. So that's actually the factor that we consider whenever we're taking any technology to the farmer's doorstep.
The returnable plastic crates and solar-powered dryer are among the initiated technologies. The dryer accommodates more than 1 metric ton of vegetable and dries them in 3 days. Apart from reducing post-harvest losses, the taste and quality of the tomato is also enhanced. In Kano, Yohannes Hassan-Baro, NTA News.
Yohannes is now at Kwanagafan with an update on the development. Hello, Yohannes.
Yes, good afternoon, Amina. We are right at Kwanagafan. As you heard from the reports, there are a lot of post-harvest losses incurred by farmers regarding vegetable production. So recently, Kano State government invented a technology that, is meant to reduce these losses farmers incur. One interesting thing about this technology is that it is produced here in Nigeria. Everything here is fabricated in Nigeria. To do with the mesh trays, the regenerative heat conductor, all of these things are produced here and they are cost effective when it comes to, the cost benefit analysis to the production and then preservation of these, vegetables. But this time around when we came to Kwanagafan, what is here is pepper, which is one of the, vegetables that these farmers incur losses on. They have, spread the pepper, which is expected to dry in 3 to 4 days. To do with, onions are also stored in here. Then, the marketers that take this produce far away to other places across the country, what they're saying is, with this technology, yes, they have a high hope that very soon the post-harvest losses they incur will soon come, history. And then many of them now are venturing into this year's irrigation farming, which means that there's going to be a high production of vegetables this year 2024. To say that the President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda of ensuring food production in Nigeria is surely going to be, achieved very soon.
Thank you very much, Yohannes. We now join our Enugu Network Center for more reports.
Thanks for joining us in Enugu. Several lives have been lost to fire outbreak at Ohaji Egbema local government area of Imo State following an explosion from one of the oil pipelines in the area. Beatrice Anyam, who visited the scene, reports that the unfortunate incident is linked to activities of illegal oil bunkering. Report.
The pipeline explosion, which claimed no fewer than 15 lives, occurred at the borders of Obitiroba Estate and 3 other autonomous communities of Awara, Ihi and Omoapo, all within Ohaji in Ohaji Bema local government area of Imo State. Several acres of farmland and the Obitiroba plantation were affected by the inferno, which started as a result of the activities of hoodlums who dug a hole in the pipeline's right-of-way where they connected a hose to standby petroleum tanker to siphon the product. Members of the communities are now counting their losses.
That day was our market day, and many of our people came out very early to harvest their farm produce for market. 7 women and 2 men died in the fire.
The fire has burnt down our farms and there's nothing to feed on. Please, government should come to our rescue.
We have reported to the oil company, I've written a lot of letters, sent delegation to them, tell them that yes, this right of way people should guide it because a lot of people is infiltrating this land. You know, every complaint is thrown in deaf ear. It is unfortunate that day that a lot of people lost their lives, even innocent people.
The chairman, House Committee on Biotech, Oil and Gas, and member representing Ohaji Egbema in Imo State House of Assembly, Dr. Zomo Soha, who visited the site to ascertain the level of damage, laments the huge loss recorded and called for adequate security surveillance in the area.
I understand that they have a surveillance up to the boundary of River State guarding these pipelines. But from River State down to Ihe or Bete Awara, down to River State, Omok side, there's no surveillance. I think this is the right time they need to bring in a surveillance.
The people of the area are appealing for government intervention to forestall future occurrence. In Owerri, Beatrice Anyam, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army 82 Division has been commended for its commitment in the area of peace and security of lives and property in Enugu State. Governor Peter Mba, in a message to the 2023 West African Social Activities, assured continuous partnership with security operatives in the state. Chimaroke Ubu has the details.
West African Social Activities WASA is an annual event of the Nigerian Army that brings officers, soldiers and families together for close social interaction at the end of each year. The General Officer commanding 82 Division, Major General Hassan Dada, assured residents of the 82 Division's area of responsibility of improved and adequate protection while soliciting their cooperation in 2024.
I expect that this 2024, with all these supports, or a whole of government approach, a whole of society approach, working in synergy with the other security agencies, I want to believe the insecurity in the sub-region or in the southeast region will come to an end.
Governor Peter Mba, represented by the Secretary to the government of the state, called for the assistance of the Nigerian Army in creating conducive environment to grow the economy of the state.
The partnership is around the key things to ensure that there's safety in Enugu State, safety of every citizen. And you know, like His Excellency will always point out, without security, we will not have businesses coming to Enugu.
On display were different Nigeria's rich and diverse cultural heritage in a relaxed atmosphere. The event, which was attended by the immediate past governor of the state, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, heads of security agencies and captains of industry, featured awards presentation to outstanding 24 soldiers from the 24 units under the division. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from here. Taking a break now. Kaduna, we take it up from here. Thereafter, do join us again.
Service of the NTA. Glad to have you join us in Kaduna. The Independent National Electoral Commission in Kaduna State says arrangements have been concluded for the scheduled rerun election on Saturday, the 3rd February 2024. Achari Maxwell was at INEC headquarters in Kaduna and has this report.
PD. Some of the issues arising from the 2023 general elections are cancellation of results at some polling units due to security concerns in some areas. However, rerun and by-elections will now hold in these areas.
We're going to have a rerun election in Gabi Federal Constituency covering 16 polling units. We're going to have rerun election in Makera, Kaduna South State Constituency covering 5 polling units. There's a rerun election in Tawen State Constituency covering 6
polling units. There's a rerun election in Kaduna State Constituency covering 5 polling units, and then a rerun election in Katia Kagarko Federal Constituency affecting 540 polling units.
This engagement raises areas of concerns such as security, logistics, training and deployment of materials, among other issues. Kaduna State Electoral Commissioner Aminu Kassim gives assurances of its readiness to deliver a credible and acceptable elections through effective stakeholder approach.
People should expect transparency, that is in terms of allowing, authenticating the relevant voters to vote, transparency in the compilation of the results, and of course transparency in the declaration of the winners.
Sensitive materials are expected to be deployed by next week in the civil local government areas ahead of the elections in Kaduna. NTA News.
And away from Kaduna, Kaduna State Government is collaborating with the African Development Bank of Nigeria to ensure the realization of agro-industrial processing zone in the state. Governor Diko Rada stated this during an inspection visit to the project, which is under construction along Jibia Road. Awal Haliru has the details.
The Reconciliation Committee was constituted by the State Governor Omar Namadi to reach out to the traditional rulers in the state. It is with a view to bringing lasting solution to farmers' hardest clashes in the state. While at the palace with the Emir, the special advisor says their task is to ensure farmers and herders come to terms and understand the importance of peace. He highlighted to the Emir the level at which the reconciliation have reached, saying it is yielding positive result.
We have gone far in the reconciliation process. It is encouraging that even the worst affected area is now becoming peaceful.
The Emir of Duse, who appreciated the visit, lamented over the lingering crisis between farmers and herders in the state. He suggested dialogue as the best way to end conflicts among them. The Emir advised that genuine cattle routes should be demarcated, while herders should be enlightened more on the implication of violating the law.
It is indeed a good idea by the government. Both parties should understand that peace is very essential in every community.
The Reconciliation Committee consists of leadership of the two bodies, security agencies, and ulamas, among others. In Duse, Sheikh Muhammad Dati, NTA News.
And that's our package from Kaduna. Is back to Amina in Abuja. Good to see you, Amina.
Thank you, Salamatu. Good to see you too. Stakeholders have continued to describe as disturbing the recent withdrawal of Mali, Niger Republic and Burkina Faso from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, saying it raises serious concern about West African security. Coming from the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, lending its voice for regional integration and robust dialogue to end disintegration and restore democratic rule in the three nations. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
3 member countries of ECOWAS, namely Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso, announced their withdrawal from the regional economic bloc, which many say poses a threat to the region. These nations changed from democratically elected government to military rule in the last 4 years. It is against this backdrop that CISLAC is recommending dialogue and civil engagement to mitigate possible disintegration of the regional bloc.
In pursuit of a more integrated, stronger community of states in West African region, civil society organization is calling on the state and non-state actors in the region to intensify engagement towards ensuring a more united ECOWAS.
Others at the briefing called for a united front and ensure free, fair and credible elections capable of bringing peace and restoring the trust for democratic processes in Africa. This is the second time some member states are pulling out from the ECOWAS after Mauritania. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
And that's it on Nationwide. Thanks for joining us.